Welcome to the first ever episode of the Intelligence Resources podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Samantha Viola Wilson, and this is Brittany George.
Welcome. We're so excited that you guys are tuning in. Let's start off the podcast telling everybody how we met each other.
Okay, yeah. Do we really want to tell them the real story?
Let's tell them. That's what they're here for. Let's tell them the truth.
Yeah, so we're former colleagues. We began in the PEO industry working together for the same company. Brittany were you in the Boca location then?
Yeah, I was in the Boca location at the time.
And I was in New York City, and I got a phone call saying, oh, this is Brittany, she works in the Florida office, she may be wanting to move to New York City. Please talk to her and let her know the ins and outs of the market, etc., how to sell here. I think we had a pretty good conversation, and then...
It's interesting because I forgot all these details.
Did you?
I love that you remember this, because now it's all coming back to me now.
So then we were at our sales conference, and we danced in the rain together. We had fun. We were having tequila shots. It was pouring rain, and we grabbed each other's hands and started dancing. We ran into the rain and started dancing in the rain. And I think it was one of my favorite pictures. And it's crazy to see how far we've come since then, because we stopped working together in 2017, so over 9 years now.
Yeah, it's interesting because the one thing about that company is we were the youngest. We're both in the insurance adjacent. PEO is insurance adjacent. It's interesting because it's pretty much dominated by old white-haired men. The truth is, and so for us to come in and be so young, so we just gravitated towards each other in that industry, and we've always stayed in touch, and we've just become very, very close friends through it. And
you got ready with me as I got ready for my wedding. So
right, absolutely,
besties, and now business owners together with Intelligence Resources.
So let's talk a little bit about the first time, because I think it's interesting that here we are starting a business, and the reason our first touch with AI, what it really was. So ChatGPT launched in your better years, November before your wedding. So what year was that?
So I got married in 2023. It was 2022 November.
November 22 it launched, and so her wedding was in August. In Italy, and we both came across ChatGPT. I actually found out about ChatGPT at Abundance 360. So Peter Diamandis owned a company, founded a company that I worked for at the time, Fountain Health, and I was there, and they dropped ChatGPT, and I, of course, came home and downloaded it on my phone. And I remember telling everybody about it, and I felt like I was the only person who knew about it, with the exception of you.
Right.
So you were the only...
you taught me how AI could work within the medical space, which is, I think you should also touch on that too, because that's really...
Yeah, very cool. But at the time, the reason that we used it was...
For my wedding, yeah.
So I was going to Italy for the first time, which was a huge thing, and she was obviously planning a wedding. And we used it. You used it for planning your wedding, and I used it the way that I prompted it then and got such a great output. It's interesting because people who are just now using it today, these are the things that they're using it for.
Right.
Are the things that we used it for years ago. So it's wild. They say the capability versus adoption gap in the business world is the opportunity of the decade. And Anthropic says that it is capable of doing 86% of business and finance, but only 14% are actually using it. So it's interesting because it's where we are today, the capabilities within AI are much greater than the use cases. And I feel like the more I talk to people, sometimes I feel like I'm living in the twilight zone because we're doing things and people are just now planning their vacations.
Yeah, and it's wild too because there's sometimes when I feel like we're so behind, or I'm coding. How am I coding? Me, a coder? I'm in a terminal. I didn't even know what a terminal was until I got my open claw. But yeah, it's totally changed how I'm working, and I think we were talking about it. I have so many tabs open now in my brain because I have so many different AI platforms doing all these different jobs for me. But it's actually finally something that I've always been more of an entrepreneur in the sense of having all these great ideas. I had my travel blog, She's Going, and then working, and then other projects that I wanted to work on, and I just never felt like I could do the same thing. I always had to give something up, but now I don't have to anymore. And actually, it's making me think about more and more things that I can do. And so I'm in a way using AI to streamline efficiency so I can have more freedom in life, but then it's also making me actually more busy because there's so many other things that I can do. And then I feel guilty, and it's just a whole big,
I agree.
Round circle thing going.
Now you have so many more ideas. Now you can execute on these ideas, but now you have more room for more ideas.
Exactly.
And so it's just a never-ending loop once you get really into it, playing with it. I don't think that I ever sit down at my computer and don't have some AI platform sitting open. And what's really interesting when I'm out in the business world, so I work with a lot of brokers, a lot of brokers refer to me. And so it's interesting that not only am I competing with brokers, I'm working with brokers simultaneously. And I do have these conversations. And I feel like there's just this pride almost in that I don't use AI. Like they don't, it's either I don't know if they're lying about it or if they feel like it's cheating. I don't know what it is, but there's this huge gap. One agency in town, I won't name it, but one of the agencies I know of, they have AI, but they have like a filter. So they have like one person that's allowed to use it. So if you or I like wanted to prompt AI to do something, you have to go through this person. So there's just like bottleneck to access. Right. So if you think about like, let's say I want to put together a proposal and I have this idea, I can't kick it around. I can't put it back in. I've got to go through a person to prompt it, which I think that's like, it defeats the whole purpose.
It does, but then also you have to think about cybersecurity and governance of how it's also being used. Like a lot of people, especially in more corporate companies, they're using only Copilot because they already have Teams. And Microsoft Microsoft is going to allow Claude to be integrated as well, I believe, with Teams. So hopefully that'll expand that, narrow that gap, I should say, expand more people going on to Claude. But yeah, I feel like part of it is governance, keeping also track of how much people are utilizing, what information they're actually putting into it, because you have to be careful with that. Yeah. Also cost, the token usage. Listen, certain things, you still use your brain, write an email, which I'm doing both, but there's so many different factors where I understand why a business owner may be a little bit shy too, but also you're going to get left behind, especially from those Fortune 500 companies that already have this going on for probably since 2022.
I think it's a delicate balance between not stifling creativity, but also being mindful of what your token usage is, making sure you're not duplicating efforts. People understand what you're allowed to use AI for, what you're not, developing skills, like for example, what's the marketing skill set that you want to come out in the output. Again, like the thing that makes me feel like I'm in a really unique position is because my business, I can move quickly and be very agile, whereas some of these larger corporations, I think that they're going to get stifled. So even though they're spending a lot of money to roll these programs out, the issue is going to be, as there's an arms race between different platforms, how quickly can they switch between them?
And what's the use case between different platforms? You can use this for that, Magnus for something else. So yeah.
Who's gonna, what is the ROI? Being able to track ROI between usage, making sure that employees are using it for what they're supposed to. They're not putting delicate data. I mean, insurance, we have a lot of information that we'd be concerned about putting in there. So I think being mindful of that. And then the companies that are, it's wild to me that there's a massive amount of companies that are just now starting the AI conversation. They don't have AI governance in place at all. And so their employees are using it.
Right.
And they don't know what they're not allowed to use it for.
And what's really important too, is to your point about governance too, is if they're in a stage where they're looking to get more funding, private equity companies want to see all of this in place too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's going to absolutely go into a valuation discussion, because you want to have it ahead of before you go to sell, because you don't want the private equity company to look at you and say, oh, I'm going to be able to do all these things and make money. You want to be the one who's done this, so you've actually got the highest multiple that you can.
Absolutely. And I think you had also gone to another venture event, but I did to the Florida Venture Forum, and everybody was just pitching AI, 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 AI. So it's like, okay, they're not going to invest into anything else unless you have that too. So when people talk about, oh, they're not going to replace humans, definitely not, because you still need to prompt and you need to have your own judgment separate from the AI, but it's not something you can ignore anymore.
No, it's definitely people who aren't using AI. It's not going to take your job, but it's going to help you be better at your job, will help you formulate better opinions. And anything that's really delicate when it comes to like compliance. I've built AI agents across multiple platforms to ensure that, if it's hallucinating, I'm protected, right? Because if you're testing the really important things in multiple places, not just relying on one source of truth.
Right. And the way I kind of think about it in that sense is some of these AIs have opinions too, right? Did they really, yes, they give you the source of where they get this information, but when I was good planning my daughter's baptism, I was trying to make some backdrops and they wouldn't let me put a cross on it. They wouldn't let me put cherubs on it. So it's like, what are they filtering out? Kind of like, the normal media, like we have to be careful with that. And I do think that going back and forth and putting information that you worked on one project, then cross-referencing it with ChatGPT and Claude and Manus or whatever it may be is the best way to use AI. And that's where we have to teach people how to utilize it in that sense. So
what do you think, if you're a business owner right now trying to roll something out, don't you think it's such a challenge with the competitive landscape when you think about how much they're evolving? The guy was doing proposals out of Manus and I was loving the output, but then Claude all of a sudden jumped ahead and it's 10 times better in Claude. So I'm constantly switching.
I have to try that.
Between them of like, well, who do I like better?
Right.
It's interesting because I'm in a unique position that we have this business. So I have an excuse to play around with different platforms. I don't know if I would be doing that if I was just focusing on my core business of her consulting. It is interesting to see. I put a photo in, and who does it better? Is it ChatGPT or is it Gemini? Who's Nana Banana? Like who has the better photo editing? And who
I think that's going to change too, constantly.
It's all constantly evolving. So that's the thing. As a business, let's just say you're a large company, organization, 10,000 employees, and you roll something out, and the next week it's behind. I mean, that's just it's a wild world to be in as things are moving really quickly in the AI space.
And you can get so burned out by doing that too. I mean, I'm watching YouTube, videos and at the gym and the sauna before bed in the background when I'm doing other work. So it definitely is. It's a lot. It definitely is. But one thing that was it Dan Martell? Is that his last name? Yeah. He's a great channel on YouTube, but one thing that I took from him that I started implementing across these are actually providing, it's kind of like a questionnaire. I'm going to put it in the link below, kind of an example of it, but basically it's showing everything about, okay, this is my company, the name, this is our branding colors, this is, what we do, these are our target market, our competitors, and you kind of have that as something that's kind of like your Bible per se about your company. And then when you're going and using different AI platforms, you're creating the project, you're putting that information in there so you're not retelling it. I think that's what a lot of people are not doing right now. That are just still using ChatGPT, Copilot. Maybe they're like they've heard Claude's name, so they're now going there, but they're not using it in the right way where like, no, you have a project that you keep on going to. You have to teach them about you so they can help you better.
Because we're in these conversations and we're doing what you just talked about, watching all these YouTube videos, constantly in this AI bubble where this is our life. And then we go out into the real world and you realize that not everybody's like us. Do you feel like that a lot?
I do, but I'm kind of getting used to it, to be honest, because this happened to me with crypto too, right? I built out for one of the first digital asset divisions that Gemini, did when working with RIAs. And I'm talking blockchain technology, and they're always like, what are you talking about? This is way too confusing. And I was like, just invest in it. Just invest in Bitcoin and at least Ethereum, and you'll be good. Right now, dollar cost average in, yes, it's 24-hour market. But yeah, it's us. There's different types of people, right? And there's going to be the early adapters, the people that, then start learning, and then there's the slower ones. And at the end of the day, you just kind of, maybe they're better at other things. You know what I mean? It's like, can't be perfect in everything, a jack of all trades. But I feel like with AI, you definitely can.
No, but it's interesting because especially when I see right now like salespeople reaching out to me or just people that could definitely be using it in different areas, it just blows my mind that they're waiting. Like, what are you waiting for? And sending generic emails at this point, not knowing something about a company before you show up, not being prepared as a salesperson. Right. At the end of the day, it's just insane to me that there's still this huge gap of people.
Insane, but it's only been 3-4 years now. 2022, ChatGPT came out. It's actually, I think Elon Musk, they had just had that whole court case because he was upset that they launched ChatGPT or OpenAI sooner. So it's like the world, in a way, he thinks the world wasn't ready for it yet. Clearly, some people are not. It's gonna happen, but you just can't get away from it these days. So
I don't know if it's so. I sometimes wonder if because we're in this bubble, but I think there's still this fear. Who knows what the reality of the world is, but it's here.
Right, it's here.
There's nothing you can do to stop it. You just gotta. What's the best? I hate to say this is the only thing I can think of. Shit or get off the pot. Like it's the time. It's the time. You're the guy who learns AI is going to take your job. Because at the end of the day, if companies are investing all this money and rolling out AI, and then you decide that you're just not going to do it, and your colleague is producing 10 times what you are.
Unfortunately, I think it's going to be more the administrative people. They're just entering data from one place to the next. They're unfortunately going to be, I think, the positions that will leave. But where there's more thought process behind and enhancing, like you said, like that know how to operate the AI, I think, those people will still remain. And unfortunately, the smaller companies need to do it. Even if they're family-owned business, it sounds so horrible because I don't want people to lose their job. I've lost my job before, and it's the worst feeling.
Yeah.
But that's why they need to figure out a way, and it will. AI allows so many people, and the opportunity is amazing. It allows them to open up so many different types of businesses or other revenue streams. If they're not making enough money, a single mom that may be working 2-3 jobs, maybe this is her opportunity to now go and start something else with AI, that online business that she didn't even know how, but you can literally go in and say, please help me come up with a business.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, okay, what are you, like, you know what I mean? Like, ask me questions so that we can figure this out together. And I think that's why I'm really excited that we are creating, courses and podcasts and everything to help people, because this is for the people that, never really, they didn't take any courses before. They don't know AI, and there's a lot that we've spent a lot of time and money on trying out, and we like to try it out, but other people that don't want to, it's like, all right, let me learn from you instead.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing I hope people take away is like, hey, if Brittany and Samantha could figure it out, we can too. I mean, because it's like, we're not proclaiming to be the most tech savvy people. We're just like super obsessed. Like, we're just become super obsessed, and we've been super obsessed about it for a very long time. It feels like every conversation, anytime you go to an event, anytime you turn on the TV, it is AI is everywhere. So I know people, even if they're not accepting it in their own lives, even if they don't have it downloaded on their phone, they hear about it, they know it's there. And hopefully we'll be the voice that they're like, this is okay, it's not so scary. It can help me. It can save time. It can make me more efficient. A lot of people think they're using AI, but I think that we can help people maximize.
Absolutely. And also, we're going to have guests on our podcast too, so that we're going to have the specialists come in here, and when they use big words, we'll be like, okay, for the average Joe, please explain exactly what that means. You were actually telling me earlier the different phases of AI too. What are they again? Because I don't even remember.
Oh, curative stuff. I don't remember. Remember, I don't know number 3.
Oh, right. Okay.
So it's generative AI was, where we were. Now we're at agentic AI. And then there's a step which starts the name before super intelligence. Super intelligence is like the maximum, but then there's a step between it. So we're an agentic where it could go into your computer, it could do everything that a human can do on a computer. The next phase is it starts to make more judgments.
Oh, it's autonomous.
Autonomous.
And that's see, we know things. We got it. You guys are listening to the right people.
Okay, so this is the point. We're not like, we're just regular moms. We're not, we're
not regular moms. We're cool moms.
We're cool. We love to make money, start businesses.
Yes.
We have entrepreneurial spheres. Even though we've worked at corporate America, we've carried the bag in sales roles. We've done a lot, and now we're just become so obsessed with AI. We needed a place to channel it ultimately, and as an excuse for our husbands not to be mad about all the token usage.
Oh my gosh, I was like, you need to make money. You need to stop. How much was this? How much are you doing here? It's a lot. But listen, it could be worse. I think I'm having less Amazon deliveries, at least, because I'm not just scrolling on my phone late at night. I'm actually talking. Instead, actually, he's saying, oh, is that Theo? Is that Claude? Is this? And I'm like, yes, it is. My other boyfriend. Correct.
Yeah, I've changed it to Claudia. So Claudia, so now he doesn't have to feel threatened by
that's cute.
my chatting all night.
Speaking of though, like, I can't remember how long ago it was, but I did like a virtual reality thing. Like, people do actually have other like significant others that they talk to. I did you did virtual porn.
Wait, you did virtual porn?
Yes. Then you put the VR headset and you look down. I was a man. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. It was very wild. But anyway, times are changing, guys. I think that is clear.
I've heard about this. Okay.
Well, actually, can you talk about how you're utilizing it like for therapy too? Like, you've, rather than spending money on it, right? You've even used it for that case scenario?
So with first I want to tell you before we jump into my therapy.
Yeah.
We will do this for you guys. We will jump all around. I have a friend who has made all his money, made his wealth in building porn, but it's bots. It's people don't know that they're talking with bots, what I think is wild. And so it's chat rooms, and they don't know that behind it it's AI bots that they're talking to. So
That's why, yeah.
Men, because men, it's mostly you, but yeah. Just be warned, it might be someone from the Philippines and a little lady boy that you're talking to.
Not like that's anything wrong with it. We need to be clear about that. But also to that point, and this is something that I'm going to be exploring too, is there's TikTok shops, right? So one of my new revenues, right, that I'm going to try is doing TikTok shops. And then I was like, okay, my AI can do all the video editing because that's the most time consuming. I swear it's like also not good for my back either. So I was looking into that, but then also there's already a page, I don't know what it is, I'll put it again in the link below, but there is or description below, sorry. There's an AI woman that is reviewing different products on TikTok. It's very clear that this is an AI page and it's killing it. It's blowing up, making sales. So I'm like, okay, how else can I do things without me actually having to be on camera? Because I've done that all. Like I grew a page, I had a blog, I did all the editing, then Reels became something, then I had to learn how to be a videographer and an editor for that. And it's just so wild. Like if I had, I started that in 2015. If I started that now, it'd be totally different. And now so I'm like, hey, what else can we do?
Yeah.
But I think it's also important, part of why we did start getting more and more into AI was because we do want to free up our times. Like me specifically, I'm like,
well, we say we want to free up time, and then we just put more. I know. That's what we always say. We always say that, and then it's just like we said another thing. You started another business last week. That's just how it goes.
I know, and I have a new idea on Saturday. I didn't even tell you about. I'm like looking at 8 different patents that I need to do, but it's apparently like this could be, please Lord, my payday. But no, for me, I want to be able to do anything, like have multiple revenue streams and do it remotely and do it from my home and do it from traveling and doing it where I can be a present mother but also be a badass.
She's going. She wants to be going.
Yeah,
she's not saying.
No, well, I want my daughter to learn around the world. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like that's so important to me, to be able to, to not have somebody like I don't want to fill out PTO. Like talk PTO to me, I'm like, oh, like. So yeah, and I can make money from everywhere. Like I've literally done it. So
yeah, I think it's important that you fulfill your passions with whatever you're doing.
Yeah,
something that makes you happy. And this is you not being on a plane is just not a happy Samantha. That's for sure. You have to be going.
Yeah. My daughter, by the way, she's gonna be 1.5 next month. She's been on 24 flights already. Actually, on Thursday she's going on 26th and the 27th. Who's counting? Not her mom. I don't know. Not trying to brag or anything, but it is kind of cool.
Meanwhile, I would never the idea of taking my son on a plane is terrifying. I mean, I have a daughter. I've flown with her, but once I had my son, the idea of taking him even to a restaurant gives me anxiety.
Well, the funniest thing too is that like I don't even want my daughter using screens. Like I am like absolutely no. Yet mom is there like talking to all her agents, running everything. So that with the beta, they're never going to know life without AI. It's going to be completely different.
It's interesting because a couple weekends ago, I was watching something that just had me panicked, thinking about how they can now make AI digital clones of your kids, and they can use it to manipulate the grandparents. And knowing how much my father is wrapped, my daughter can tell him anything and he gives it to her. All it would take is her voice calling him and saying, "Papa, clear out your bank account." I mean, literally, I don't know what it would.
Noted.
It literally is. That's it. That's it. And he would do it. And I say that in jest, but there is a legitimate concern with that. So I immediately went and deleted everybody off of my private account that has my kids on it that I don't know. Like if I haven't spoken to you, if I don't have a direct connection with you, you don't need to see pictures of my kids. I have my public profile, which everybody's welcome to follow, but like
plug it in,
not ensure you're healthy. But with my personal account with my children, I don't think everybody needs to have access to that.
Yeah.
And then I made my profile pictures just a ChatGPT AI cartoon.
I saw that recently. I was like, oh, that's a good idea. Am I a bad mom? Like, you know what I mean? Because I have my daughter on there, but I was going to do travel content as a family and with mom. So it's so tough.
It's a tough decision. I mean, I think you're in a different space where you have a much larger following than I have a very small following relative to what you have. So I think that lots of people put their kids out there.
Yeah. I've heard some crazy things though too.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah. Like they're saying, okay, this is what a child looks like. Make an AI of what they would look like when they're bigger, and do porn with them.
No,
so it's I need to figure this out. But there's always going to be bad actors, right? In everything that we do. It was with the phishing, the spam, the text messages. My mom had a spammer or a hacker call her on FaceTime recently. So you always have to take, the good and the bad and have your own judgment and also, when I was working with my Open Claw, it had recently prompted me to give one of my API keys. And it shouldn't be doing that. That's them manipulating me. So I have to, in my governance, building out my Open Claw, which is like an operating system. We'll get into that another time. But I had to go back and be like, okay, I want you to work autonomously. However, there's certain things that you are not ever allowed to do. I already had that. I actually had in there that I am not going to allow them to give any information only to myself, then my husband. And if it goes to my husband, then it actually has to show a proof of death. This is great. So I'm thinking I'm being so smart, yet it still did something else, But yeah, it's, we just have to keep on trying new things and just be careful, not putting too much sensitive information. And again, I think that's why the different corporations are also slowly getting into it and seeing what's going to work well, what's not, what they're going to slowly allow all employees to be, utilizing, like Copilot, as we mentioned, maybe now Claude with that, new thing that they've opened up. But yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who adopts and who doesn't. And what businesses, I actually sat in on an AI event where the keynote speaker was just talking about what will survive and what won't. And there is this huge argument that more human experiences will actually survive, right? There'll be the people who want nothing to do with people, who totally want to rely on AI, but then it'll also make the human experiences more valuable.
Right.
Just like a regular old Marriott versus a Four Seasons.
Right.
Like the experiences that you get where you have someone showing up with hand-holding you and calling you by name and, that's there to cater to you. It's a totally different experience.
But best believe, organizationally wise, with their operations, they're still going to be using AI to book things, AI to handle their, their calendar with the cleaners and everything else, and how they're getting the best bang for their buck on certain products and bedding and cleaning supplies. And everybody's still going to be able to use this, which is great. But yeah, it's exciting. I'm really excited for everything to talk about, Yeah,
I know we can probably go on and on about this forever, but this was episode 1, so buckle up because I think we're going to be all over the place because that's just kind of how our brains are very similar, and that they just don't ever stop going, and we just talk really, really fast. Our husbands love that about us. Joking.
We're also going to be having a lot of prompts that you can use for free. And that we're going to start sharing on our social media. So our Instagram is Intelligence Resources IO, and so we'll be posting those, and you can get on me about 27 free prompts. You could also go online, actually get them right away rather than waiting for Instagram to drop them. But yeah, we're gonna be sharing a lot soon, and available for, like you said, I think you said it earlier, or we were filming something else.
By the way, I will tell the story of how I use therapy.
Oh, right, yes.
In the next episode. So stay tuned.
All right. Thank you, guys. It's so nice to speak to you, but not hear you.
Thank you.
All right, stay tuned. Bye.